How's it going, everybody? It's time for the last one of these live ones, probably. At least in terms of just chin-wagging about general stuff. Because no
Yeah, it
doubt at some
seems
point in the
logical.
next week it's going to be, well, in a week or two time, we're going to be going deep into sort of nominations and playing through them in terms of what were they thinking or what were they not thinking.
We are right now at this very moment as we are live here on the East Coast. Well, on the East Coast, and of course Ashley is on UK time. Um, I would state that we are about 52 minutes away from the Gotham Awards starting. So I don't know if anyone in our live chat is going to give us live reactions to the show or not, but I mean, we'll be talking about that at least in partial the next time we're live. And like I said before, you're going to get real used to us. Probably not seeing my face for a while, but I will say get used to my voice because all three of us should be back pretty regularly in December, moving forward for the rest of the award season, except for those lull times where we don't really have anything to talk about.
So, given what happened yesterday, I'm intrigued because I think there's been multiple uploads of it to YouTube. AJ, have you caught the Tarantino Fortnite thing yet?
I haven't.
Okay. All I'll say is they make some obvious adjustments, i.e., there's no blood, because I think that would sort of go against Fortnite's stuff. So there's some stuff where they've obviously adapted it. So the bit where Yuki's supposed to be on steroids, at least going by the original script, it's supposed to be Bill's special slurp juice or whatever. But it's the same basic idea.
Mm.
Um, and there's a few bits where like Fortnite characters are probably the place of other characters in certain bits. But the big thing is Fortnite had the word bitch, and it was bleeped out, but there was F's and Jeffs as well, which for Fortnite I think is the first time ever. Which for some of the people that are family friendly streamers, they're like, oh god, how do I get around this? Um, it does. It feels like something that it's understandable that Tarantino sort of put on the thing. However, it also explains why the pussy wagon disappears between what's her name? Oh, what was the character's name? The one with the kid.
Vernita Green.
Bernita
Yeah.
Green.
So between Vanita and Bud is where the Yuki stuff was supposed to happen,
Mm.
because the pussy wagon gets a lot of bullet holes in it, at least in the Fortnite interpretation of it, which explain why you don't see it again.
Because there's like a line in passing where she says my pussy died on me, but that's the only information we really get.
Yeah,
Now we have a logical conclusion with visuals.
yeah, pretty
Um,
much.
so yeah, that is the great thing. It is Monday here, and at least for us, and I'm very excited to finally see the whole bloody affair this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I finally figured out a way to make it work. As a matter of fact, I'm going to leave work early on Thursday.
I
Hopefully
still
that works
can't
out,
tell
and
whether
then
the
I'm going to.
Fortnite. I still can't tell whether the Fortnite thing is going to be sort of like an extra sort of bonus thing that won't actually
the
be part of the whole bloody affair thing, because it had Kill Bill the whole bloody affair, the lost chapter.
the run time for it right now, minus trailers and rolling stock, is listed as 4 hours and 35 minutes.
Yeah.
I am more than prepared to be there past 10:30 on Thursday night.
I think we have the discussion already about how I think there's supposed to be an intermission and how that's probably factored into that runtime also.
I would say so. Like the
Because the
brutalist.
because I don't know whether the Fortnite stuff will also be included. Because the only thing that I think is definitely confirmed is the extended slash second Oren animation from the manga studio.
And the Crazy 88's battle being in color instead of black
Yeah,
and white, which I'm super psyched for.
because because when it's been shown in Fortnite, it's been like, oh, they've only had 2 showings of it so far. I don't know if it had any other encore screenings beyond the first one.
I want to say something that AJ's the only one that's going to get, but I feel like it needs to be said because I'm a little groggy right now, so I feel like I'll
Although
say
for
some really
some reason
stuff tonight.
the working title for the lobby wasn't, Yuki's Revenge. It was like Dry Squash Premiere. Like Dry
I
Squash
mean,
is the code name. I don't know what that's about.
back in the day when I would get cans brought to my theater and we have to carry them upstairs and build the movies, there were very unassuming names on a lot of popular films.
The
The
nice little
one,
touch is the little area where it is basically supposed to be Tarantino's theater. And from what I saw from the press images / the stuff that came out, they pretty much had the same setup when they actually showed it to sort of the invited guests when they showed it, I think, about a week ago. So they just recreated it in Fortnite. Including the bit where you also can be a weird looking Tarantino standing next to the back of the Fortnite version of the Pussywag. That didn't. It was weird. Weird framing there. Whatever.
what's funny is I don't know really anything about Fortnite at all, so most
Nothing
of this is really foreign to me.
Well,
extremely.
the key thing is it's sort of the way it was sort of a lobby that was basically the equivalent of what they did for the premiere last week, but then it basically just took you to like you sitting down at a cinema screen. There's a Fortnite themed let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves some noms rather than snacks. I don't know what that's about, but whatever. And then it transitions straight into sort of the it's art wise style. It seems very akin to Spider Verse. Like it's a staggered frame rate. It's not sort of as it would be in Fortnite. It's got that sort of slower frame rate styled position to it. But
Is Noms kind of like Fortnite Simlish, basically? Like its
probably,
own
yeah.
language?
Because there was like pizza and ice cream and,
Oh,
you know, the various sort of, I guess, snacks that you can get as health pickups and
makes
things.
sense.
That's probably what the equivalent thing was.
As a wise Harry Doyle IV, Bocephus Harry Doyle IV, mind you, said once long ago in a street on a one random night, I don't play Fortnite. I play Roller Coaster Tycoon like an adult.
But yeah, I think you probably can find it somewhere if you do want to watch it, AJ, at some point and over the next few days and whatever, just so we can get your actual take on it. Because I'm guessing you know the script to some extent, the scene that got left on the cutting room floor.
A little bit. I was just having flashbacks when you said Roller Coaster Tycoon because I used to be so addicted to that.
Same.
To the point that whenever I closed my eyes, I could still see the people walking around, like it was imprinted.
And in your mind, you were thinking about picking them up by the pincers and dropping them into water.
Oh yeah, when you just go out in the middle of nowhere and just make like a little one square of water there and then just drop people in it.
Literal death pool.
Just like The Sims.
Or the roller coaster that was like the one loop that would go forward and then back, but you made it go too fast so it would fly off and they would all explode.
Yep. So it's funny because Roller Coaster Tycoon had an offshoot that they teamed with SeaWorld parks. And there was a SeaWorld Tycoon. I had that. And one of the last ones I had was a Six Flags Tycoon, which is hilarious in retrospective because if I only knew back then when I was building these iconic Six Flags coasters that I would be actually riding them many years down the line, I would have called you crazy.
Right, so to the chat. Josie saying, hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving.
I got paid. Oh yeah.
FYI,
Hey,
Josie,
I got paid.
just because of how Owen's feeling, we might leave the adaptation game till next time around if we can fit it in and whatever.
Oh, real quick, since you want to bring up Thanksgiving, Josie, I every year I basically cut a very long-winded promo about my year in review in the guise of what I'm thankful for, and it's funny because there are three people that we are referencing literally right now. One of which I'm watching spin in a chair. One of which still is a yellow Mickey Mouse behind, and one of which is the aforementioned Josie that just spoke. So yeah, I I'm very thankful for a lot of people, and that was one of the things I was doing. And that's the reason why I posted that on Facebook like I usually do. So yeah, it wasn't the best Thanksgiving, of course, but I mean, it'll come in time. Like I said, I got paid. I got to watch AEW. We're good.
If all else fails.
Yes.
So, Josie's first time watches from November. Man in Search of His Murderer from 1931. 1990's Magic Cop. 1999's Johnny Tsunami.
Oh, nice.
Let It Ride from 89. Murder, He Says from 1945. Jafar Panahi's The Mirror from 1997. 94's Felidae. Cousins from 1989. Fata Morgana from 71. Daddy Longlegs from 2009. Strangers on a Train, the 51 version. To Be or Not to Be from 1942. All Through the Night from the same year. It says Batman and then it says, I mean Howard Hawks, Barnaby Coast, stupid typo. So, from 1935.
I have seen every iteration of Batman that exists, Josie. Especially when it comes to the serials of like the 40s and 50s.
So, thoughts on any of those if you've seen them?
I was just gonna say, if these were first-time watches, I'm surprised it took her this long to get to Strangers on a Train.
Damn. Ironic your timing with Jafar basically getting like, isn't he like not allowed to come into the country right now, as of like this week? I remember reading something about that. Ashley, can you confirm that?
I know that at least in terms of the soccer stuff as well, the Iranian FA has only been allowed to bring 4 people as their delegation for the draw that's happening at the end of this week, which they're not happy with because practically all the other countries can bring, a lot of people, but Iran's only allowed 4, so it's getting to the point that they're boycotting it, which would be more awkward considering allegedly Trump might be getting an award that FIFA basically made up and didn't even tell the rest of the members of FIFA about. Which ain't going to be awkward at all.
Sounds about as logical as WWE booking.
That's as close as we're getting politically on any of this. So,
that's why I'm trying to deviate away from this topic. Let's go!
But considering how support's supposed to not be political, it's getting a bit awkward. That's all I'm saying.
Nah, it's easy. You have plausible deniability if you just don't look at the news. I do just fine.
So in regard to Strangers on a Train,
there you go.
There we go. Segue.
Good job, AJ.
Back on track.
Yeah. I want to say, I'm sure Psycho was probably my first Hitchcock movie, but Strangers on a Train was probably pretty close to that also.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about it is, I mean, not only is it like one of his most classic and one of the best. I put Bruno on my villains list when we made that a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually found out about it through Throw Mama from the Train.
Makes sense.
And there was a little bit of time where I would Throw Mama from the Train was on TV all the time, and I wondered, like, is that a real movie or is this a Home Alone situation? And I was thrilled to realize that not only was it a real movie, but it was actually at our video. It was at Hollywood Video in the classic section,
Oh, where I worked for quite a bit.
and yeah, that it's kind of a love at first sight movie. So I always love that.
I mean, every time I think about Hitchcock, it always reminds me of the Alfred Hitchcock Art of Making Movies that we had at Universal Studios way when the park first opened. And I don't know if you got a chance to see it in one of your early trips in Florida,
I think so.
but it was fantastic. We went through the shower scene, we got to see how it was done. We did the birds and vertigo and everything, and at the end we watched a really good B-reel of all of Hitchcock's greatest moments, and then we ended with looking at real life props from the actual set itself. Phenomenal. I totally recommend Alfred Hitchcock: The Art of Making Movies if you can go back and check it out on like YouTube or Vimeo or whatever you want to check it out on.
I was gonna say now I'm depressed that I never saw this.
I'm very happy I did get to see it, actually. Very excited to say that I saw it. Drugs.
Have we ever seen Johnny Tsunami?
I have, but it's been many years since I have. It was a decom that I wasn't like into as much as everybody I knew was.
Because Josie says it needs to be a double feature with Marty Supreme, saying she wants a ping pong match or a snowboard race between the two of them.
Well, here's something we can kind of segue into now that that's been brought up. Owen and I had a conversation recently where you said that's a decom.
Correct.
And that's kind of the direction I've been heading in recently because I didn't grow up with those.
Mm-mm.
So I'm kind of curious to go back to them. And anybody who's been paying attention to the award season probably knows what recently got me into exploring Disney Channel original movies. That being that Ryan Coogler said that The Luck of the Irish was a heavy influence on Sinners. And you can pinpoint like the exact scene too that influences the Jack O'Connell side of the story. So now I'm kind of using that as a launching pad of maybe I should check more of these out. I watched the Christmas one with Bryan Cranston as well,
Mm-hmm.
since it's topical now. And yeah, that's kind of a rabbit hole I'm interested to go down. So this movie's probably in my near future. You know?
AJ, have you seen Phantom of the Megaplex?
I have not, but it's very high on the list of ones I want to get to.
I kind of love that movie. Really do.
And I gotta say, I'm really interested now in Johnny Tsunami. Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
Now that Josie's apparently comparing it to Marty Supreme.
Now, I don't know how you're going to take the stuff like, well, I'm sure you remember it slightly because basically me for all intents and purposes, like High School Musical and Teen Beach Movie and The Descendants and things like that, the newer DComs that have become like juggernauts and multiple sequels. But stuff like Halloween Town and things like that, I mean, I feel like that'd be right up your alley.
Yeah. Well, I have seen the first two Halloween Town. The first Halloween Town, actually, I've reviewed on the channel.
Yes, you did.
I was telling you, it blew my mind looking at the list because I was like, I knew Halloween 1 and 2 were, or Halloween Town 1 and 2 were a thing. I had no idea there were two more of those.
Like all the Home Alone straight-to-video sequels.
But at least one more of those still has Debbie Reynolds in it, which kind of blows my mind.
Bryce says 1 month till 26. And then...
No, Bri. Here's the thing. 30 days till 26. I'd rather just say days and make it easier. I'm excited. I need to get this year over with.
Last Oscar movies of the 2000s watched since the last Popcast. Burma VJ reporting from a closed country. Operation Homecoming writing the wartime experience. There you go.
we are in no way ever laughing at the subject matter of Burma VJ.
Nope,
It,
not at
it,
all.
it's something else. It's a whole other in joke entirely.
It is an inside joke that we have used throughout the years, and it's one of those things that just kind of blew us away.
Was that in 2009?
I think it has to be.
All right, so it might come up later.
Yes.
See, the problem is I can't make the joke that I want to because when I see VJ, I just get triggered with video jockey and then Commandos!
Yeah.
The movie's on!
I mean, I think Violence Jack. I think Violent J.
Other ones, As It Is in Heaven, although Bry couldn't find the sequel to that anywhere either. War Photographer Elling, Street Fight, Long Nights, Journey into Day, Lali's Kin, The Legacy of Cotton, My Country, Promises, Children Underground, Which Way Home, and The Milk of Sorrow, which finished 04, 06, and 09 for Bry.
Those are all things that I don't recall seeing.
We saw The Milk of Sorrow.
Milk of Sorrow is the one thing I'm pretty sure we have seen.
The Milk of Sorrow is a bizarre movie and an interesting one. Just look up like a little plot synopsis for The Milk of Sorrow, and you'll already get the vibe.
Bry says I only have 11 films left, with the exception of the only animated feature I haven't watched yet, which is Persepolis. The other 10 are a few documentaries and international features. However, the 10 either A, Bry can't find, or B, with some of the non-English films don't have subtitles. So he's hoping to get it done before the end of the month. We know the honorary awards happen, but I want to mention something that's a massive question that was mentioned in a video, and that's a lot of our potential future nominees were there, which leads into the question mark, is that a requirement for award show campaign? Because Chalamet didn't bother to go.
See, the thing about it is, if you ask Joe Blow on the street that thinks he or she's an expert, they're going to tell you right now Chalamet is like fighting for the win. With Marty Supreme, like basically the embargo dropping today, and I'm seeing all the reviews, and I'm getting more and more pissed every day because I just want to see the movie, and I have to wait till Christmas because there's no way to see it beforehand. But the thing is, it's just like, I feel that sometimes you don't have to campaign if you're in more of a solid ground than other people might be. Some people need to campaign to keep their spot or to get a spot. Others don't need to campaign because they feel like they already have a spot. Whether they do or not is always like up in the air. But still, I mean, I think at this point Chalamet is very much locked for a spot, and I don't feel like he needs to campaign.
Plus, with the schedule, I don't know whether he's doing Dune right now anyway.
That would make
I
sense.
still find that fascinating as well when I saw it in something. Michael Caine never actually showed up in person to get his Oscar for Hannah and His Sisters because he was filming that terrible Jaws movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Monique kind of set a precedent for, if you're on solid enough ground, you don't need to campaign. Because wasn't the whole thing that she didn't campaign like at all?
She didn't. I mean, she might have done maybe one thing here and there, but nothing like substantial.
I don't think Chalamet's in danger based
Not
on,
one bit.
because here's the thing is, number one, I think he's already probably friends with enough people.
Oh yeah.
That's something he doesn't have to worry about. But also, I feel like the only thing that really seems to be this big factor of coming down to the person wasn't campaigning in the right way or something was the whole Denzel BAFTA thing.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the only time I can think of where it was supposedly consistently related to just they weren't campaigning in the way that particular awards body likes people to campaign.
Sure.
Or something. I don't know. It still feels like there has to be more to that grudge, because it's almost too consistent to just be, oh, he doesn't show up to our parties. They've really got it for him in some way. But yeah.
Continuing the love for PTA. Josie says, "What music do you think would be on Bob Ferguson's playlist besides Steely Dan and the Jackson 5?" Josie thinks Stone Temple Pilots and Pearl Jam.
That seems to figure out.
Pearl Jam especially feels like it makes
Rage Against the Machine, probably.
Weirdly, I also think some Buena Vista Social Club.
Yeah, something like
Be
chill music for him.
Something sort of like, chill Latin sort of style music. So Buena
Carlos
Vista just
Santana.
fits there.
Carlos Santana.
Mm-hmm. Happy birthday to Billy Idol, Zoe Kravitz, Sarah Snook, and Riz Ahmed, amongst many others. For you, AJ, your favourite moment of the Fresh Prince Christmas episode?
Oh man. There's so many episodes I know front to back. I'm kind of vague on that one. I may need to rewatch that and get back to you.
It's weird because in a little bit of a different tangent, obviously everyone knows my favorite show of all time is Seinfeld, and the episode that always comes back to me above everyone else is the Jimmy episode. I don't know why that one got me so well, but I think it was because I had this gimmick when I was a kid that I would lose access to the internet, and then my stepmom got wise to the fact that I was just using her phone cord to plug into the outlet, so I was getting internet that way. So she would take the cord and put it in her desk at work. So what I would do is when I had internet access when they were home, I would record audio of videotaped TV shows and things to watch. So it'd be hilarious because all of a sudden you'd hear commotion in my room and my stepmom would walk in and she's like, "Are you watching TV?" I was like, "Nope, listening to a tape." I recorded Super Dave's Vegas Spectacular in audio format and things like that. So it's it was my workaround.
I was just trying to refresh my memory on that. I saw a couple come up. There was the one at the house, which is the one that's kind of vague to me. I forgot. There's also the one with the skiing trip, which I'm assuming is the more popular one. But I'd still have to refresh my memory. But
I'm seeing one bit here of Willa Ferguson and Christmas Karate Show. I don't know if that's relating to it. Oh no, it's more one battle after another. Of course it is. It's just the way it was put. I thought it was in relation to the. Josie also said, "Oh, I always said during the Crazy '88 battle in Volume 1 that I'd have let the guy whose sword got cut go." And then Josie also says, "Did you ever play Crazy Taxi, AJ?"
that doesn't sound familiar.
I did.
I'm trying to think because there was an arcade version, I think.
There was. I played it on PS1 though.
2.
Oh,
Yeah.
I played it on PlayStation. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
And I remember never playing it in the arcade, but I remember always seeing it in the arcade, but I never played it in the arcade. But when it got its home console, I remember playing it because it reminded me of, obviously, the big knockoff was Simpsons Hit and Run, which I really dug. That game was fun. It was Simpsons Crazy Taxi.
Simpsons Hit and Run was more.
Simpsons Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see the
Simpsons
comparison.
Road Rage was the Crazy Taxi ripoff. And Simpsons Skateboarding didn't rip off any skateboarding games because, dear lord.
Dear Lord, talk about Simpsons wrestling.
Well, that was actually something actually resembling wrestling. The mechanics of the skateboarding thing was like no other skateboarding game that came out around that time, which didn't help it.
Yeah.
So, probably with an interesting sort of combo here. One thing I want to talk about is that I've mentioned in my prediction videos is regarding Best Director. Although there's no stone-clad rule, in recent years the director's branch don't usually nominate two or at least beyond two from the same studio in the final list. Even though this decade so far it's been one film per each studio. This is concerning to me, at least regarding Warner Brothers and Neon, because obviously Warner Brothers has got one battle after another in Sinners, and as Bry puts it, Neon have like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I think we can say up. I know this is deadly to say, but if you had to ask me my top 2 choices for who I think is pretty solidly in Best Director, it's the 2 Warner Brothers ones.
Yeah.
So
completely.
I think we're already defeating this regardless. This trend. Or lack of trend, whatever.
Yeah, Bry says it could happen in the other categories as well, yet alone the possibility of like 30 to 40% of the, if it is 10 for picture, just being Neon Productions. And then Neon have to decide which one they think is the biggest chance of getting a win if they want to campaign it that way.
That's another thing. I think we talked about this a little last year too, but when we're doing predictions, just studios are not really something I think about. I know that I should, but it's just like the last thing I think about.
I don't think about them at all. It's not even the last thing. I just literally don't even come into my mind about it being something that.
It's something that I think about, but luckily, because it's usually sort of 2, maybe 3 from Universal, because then that obviously spins off because you've obviously got Focus being not Universal, but let's be honest, it is. You know, the workarounds like that sort of thing. So I try, if I notice something's got like 2 or 3, I maybe see what other ones maybe are in contention from other studios. But that's it's only really for picture. I don't really touch it for anything else too much because I'm pretty sure, at least with, and I say this every year, it's only those bodies that vote in the categories, I think. So writers write for the screenplays, actors vote for all the acting ones. I don't know how casting's going to work this year. We'll find out. That sort of deal. Bry also says, though, what movie is going to be our villain for the season that public will hate, like Amelia Perez was last year?
Well, I have my answer, but I don't think people are going to agree with me.
Bry says, could it be Wicked for good? Could it be J. Kelly? Or could it be Neon with just how many films that they have?
You know, it seems like we've already got some sort of a loose narrative about J. Kelly right now. So if you want to put words into my mouth, Brian, I mean, that might be the one everybody's going to go after. I'm not going to, because it's got so many wonderful things in my head going for it. So it's not going to be my least favorite thing this season, no matter how the narrative is trying to turn me against it. No, I have a horse in that race. And we'll see Friday if I still feel that way.
Well, I imagine because once something hits Netflix, especially something with buzz behind it, everybody and their mother is gonna see it, or at least see it partially.
Hmm.
And I can already imagine it'll be one of those movies that a lot of people watch on Netflix for 20 minutes and say it's terrible or whatever, and then they just leave it. And the people that do get through it, I imagine, will say that it's like, for some reason, Clooney's such an easy target.
Yeah.
When people aren't bitching about, oh, he always plays himself, it's whatever, or the smugness of his Oscar speech or whatever, if you're Trey Parker and Matt Stone. But um, that people will come away from it thinking that it's basically a 2.5 hour circle jerk about how much Hollywood just loves Clooney.
I actually don't have a problem with this at all.
Yeah, we went down this path like a couple of lives ago. How much I love Clooney, and I'll
Same.
I'll stick up for that. But yeah, it's gonna be anything like Emilio Perez. It's gonna be anything that's on Netflix because that's gonna be what everybody has access to the most,
Mm.
probably. So probably one of just even though like everybody's in love with Frankenstein,
They could
but
turn on it.
um, but yeah, I could once Hamnet inevitably starts winning a lot, I imagine it's usually whatever is winning a lot first is what people
Yeah.
turn on because people are so predictable like that.
Yeah.
But that's why I loved because my favorite movie of 2017 was Three Billboards,
Yep.
and we all saw how close Three Billboards got at the end there.
Hmm.
And when The Shape of Water won, I was actually relieved because my first thought was, okay, so Three Billboards is definitely going to age better
Sure.
because everybody's immediately going to call the Best Picture winner overrated, no
Hmm.
matter what it is.
Well, they've been pretty on point with that last 5 years for the most part. Couple of
Well, as long as it was in the last year, that's okay. But any
2
other
years ago
time,
too.
um, like I know a lot of people started turning on Oppenheimer after a
Mhm.
while. I think even before it won, people were turning on Oppenheimer, but
Mhm.
obviously I'm not going to do that. But
Same.
and yes, Owen, I do believe there is, especially now, a lot of the comments, like back when it first came out, when there was no awards buzz whatsoever because it was in like March, you could not find a negative comment about everything everywhere all at once.
No, you
And
couldn't.
now I feel like every comment I've seen about it in the last maybe 6 months has all been overrated in one way or another. Like that's the gist of what I've seen. But yeah, obviously that's just a sampling of people, but still, it's interesting how much better a movie's likely to age if it doesn't have the awards, which is annoying when movies that are actually deserving actually do get it. It's just inevitable, but that's the
Speaking of opinions, um, that would be a segue into the obligatory criterion thing, which we'll get to. But I've just noticed the tweet. Vanity Fair's published its list of the best 11 movies of the year. I
I think I
just
might
wanted,
have seen this.
I just wanted your take on this. So, in
Sure.
alphabetical order, we have Blue Moon,
Heck yeah.
Friendship, Hamnet, It Was Just an Accident, Marty
Sight unseen.
Supreme,
Sight
One
unseen.
One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent,
Sight
Sentimental
unseen.
Value, Sinners, Train Dreams, and Weapons.
wow. Okay, before Weapons, I was about to make a comment, but Weapons kind of threw it off. I was gonna say, is this an actual best of list, or is this somebody's best picture prediction? But okay, Weapons gave that a whole new vibe.
Apparently, at least looking at the Vanity Fair article itself, as chosen by Vanity Fair's staff. So it's listed as 5 different names have apparently written articles on it. So it's a collab, but that's what they've said.
Seeing the continued push for Blue Moon warms my heart. Bob Trevino is not going anywhere this season. I would be shocked if it gets any nominations at any award show, but Blue Moon has a chance to do something. And every time I hear more people talking about it, it tells me that it's in the conversation. Especially at this point where right now we're about ready to get into ceremonies and get into nominations and get into the nitty gritty of the season already. And Ethan Hawke's name just keeps on popping up. I want this. I need this. It has to happen.
You know what makes lists like that worthless, though?
I have an
Is
answer to that, but I can't say it.
is that Marty Supreme is on it, which means I can only imagine they saw Marty Supreme extremely recently.
I'd say so.
So almost like they kind of almost like they you can almost I don't want to jump to any conclusions because I don't know this. But what I can imagine in my head is they were like, we got to get this list out as soon as possible. And Marty Supreme's obviously going to be on it. So we're going to make the list, leave a blank space, see Marty Supreme, throw it in whatever empty space it is, and get it out as fast as possible. Which doesn't give it a lot of merit, if that's the case. It's sort of like when older celebrities die and you can tell the obituary has been written for like 6 months. It's like that.
So yeah, thoughts on the Criterion Collection announcements for February. For those of you unaware, it's a 4K update of 310 to Yuma. Woman Under the Influence gets a solo release after being previously in the Cassavetes collection, I think. Playtime's getting a new 4K outside of. I don't know if it was released standalone. It was certainly part of a Jack Tatty box set. Cloud, which is Koyoshi Kurosawa's film as part of the Premieres range. Eclipse Series 8, the Lubitsch musicals, which is Love Parade, Monte Carlo, Smiling Lieutenant, and 1 Hour with You. And then a crazy double header for the end of February. The Man Who Wasn't There and Network.
First of all, I'm kind of shocked it took Network this long.
Well, I think Network's a 4K. I want to say.
And the Man Who Wasn't There just kind of has Criterion written all over it, which is fantastic. I like the Lubitsch musicals because, as somebody that tries to collect the Oscar movies, 3 of those 4 movies are Best Picture nominees that otherwise have been pretty hard to get a hold of.
Oh,
So
by
I
the way,
love.
you are correct. That does surprise me as well. It's taken this long for Network to show up as part of the Criterion.
Yeah. So I'm pretty psyched about the Lubitsch musicals also.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is kind of. I mean, it's nice that they're getting upgraded, but they were already here, so it's not as exciting.
Well, the weird thing is, because there is somebody that sort of does this thing that I'm following on YouTube. I can't remember his channel, but I've only sort of found it recently. The Woman Under the Influence is literally just a Blu-ray. It's not a 4K or update or anything. It's just the standalone release of it outside of the Cassavetes box set like it was previously. Which is weird.
Could it be one of those? Could it be one of those things where, with the way Cassavetes shot, that it maybe just doesn't translate to being super HD?
Possibly.
Sort of like the Blu-ray for 28 Days Later that just didn't mesh with the way Boyle shot it. Maybe it's a situation like that.
Mhm.
Because one of the influences in all of Cassavetes' movies have that really like gritty look to them.
Josie says, I think one battle after another will most likely get Best Picture as of now, but I could see a scenario where there's a split between picture and director, so PTA gets director and Safdie and Bronstein win original screenplay. Then surely PTA could win adapted for one battle after another, so. In addition to Chalamet winning lead actor.
Yeah.
And Josie getting the pitchfork out. I hope Timmy and Kylie break up, not because I want to be with Chalamet myself, but rather because I hate the Kardashians in all caps and everything they stand for. They are fake as fuck. I mean,
they're a very interesting couple in that regard. I love all the comments I see that are like, "What do they even talk about in private?" Like,
Josie wants to see Chalamet with Anna Maria Bartolome. And then back to the one battle after another love. Yeah, there's the Willa Ferguson. Hang on. Scroll down for whatever reason. Willa Ferguson and Christmas Karate shows. Sensei Sergio's at Christmas time is probably a blast. Feliz Navidad just playing God knows how loud on the bloody speakers. And then Josie saying they're talking about Squidward approaching Squillum. Josie saying I hope you feel better, Owen. Do you drink tea, Owen? I drink mango ginger tea. And for sleep, chamomile tea.
Thank you, Josie. No, I don't. I like iced tea with lots and lots of sugar, but I can't mess with any other tea. I mean, I'm at the point now. I'm like sleeping 2 hours and then bath, sleep, bath, sleep, bath, sleep, bath. It's like I'm sick when I'm not. I'm just in pain, so it's kind of like I'm just gonna take it easy right now. So, and I don't look presentable at this moment, so I look again very homeless. So needless to say, I ain't gonna be on camera for a minute.
Josie says, realistically, I don't think Neon will get more than two films into Best Picture 10. I guess this is following up from Bry's stuff from earlier. It's possible, but it's a matter of figuring out which ones, besides sentimental value. Like their main two priorities seem to be that, and it was just an accident, and possibly no other choice or secret agent.
I think
okay.
I think there's a lot of wishful thinking right now about No Other Choice, because I see it everywhere on social media lately that they're trying to really, really trying to drill it into my head that it needs to be in the picture lineup, and I'm like, I just don't see it.
Well,
Secret Agent's a different story, though.
there's two things about No Other Choice that are making me kind of not pay attention to it as far as awards go. I'm sure it's great as a movie, but as far as awards chances, two things come to mind, which is number one, the fact that they completely ignored Decision to Leave,
Mm-hmm.
and do we still? I know he like kind of denied it, but how people might feel about that whole Park Chan Wook maybe betraying the WGA during the strike thing.
I mean, people don't forget those things, especially in Hollywood.
Yeah, because it wasn't a big story. After he denied it, it seems like you didn't really hear about it. But the industry takes that kind of shit pretty seriously.
Oh yeah.
So I'm curious if there's any more ripples that we aren't seeing from that still. But yeah, but even then, just the fact that they completely ignored Decision to Leave is odd.
Mm-hmm.
I would say both sentimental value and it was just an accident are pretty like not locked, but I feel that they don't really have much to worry about. Secret Agent, I feel, could be more of a player than people think it is, especially if Wagner Moura takes off like a lot of people think he's going to.
Yeah, because it's like we were talking about. Because I guess the main thing with studios is like, which one do you push and get like more of a campaign behind? Because I don't imagine the way of thinking is that voters are going to say, well, if I go with one Warner Brothers movie, I'm not going to go with another. It's a strictly a campaign standpoint thing of what voters are going to see more during the FYC circuit,
Right.
because so many of these, like, I don't know that Warner Brothers would have to do anything else with Sinners and One Battle After Another for them to perform the way they're probably going to perform.
They're literally getting more IMAX releases this month.
And so it's like I feel like there's not a lot they're going to have to do to keep a lot of these movies in voters' minds. They're kind of a lot of these are pretty big deal movies that will be there regardless, I think.
Certainly.
But then again, it is also sometimes you think, how much does a campaign really help? And then you see that there has been many times where that is the case, unfortunately, but especially in the Weinstein era.
Yep.
Or when your campaign budget like triples your movie's budget, and a lot of people think you basically just bought your way to all those wins, but you know.
Josie followed up. Part of me wonders if it was just an accident, follows a sort of Sing Sing trajectory where most assume it will get in, but ultimately doesn't make it into the 10.
I mean, I got Panahi getting in here, and that might be a shot in the dark right now.
In spite of the Palm and the major narrative, but I still think it's more likely than not to get in as of now. And I'm sure it's really good. I'm looking forward to seeing it when I can.
I was initially going away from putting more than one international movie in predictions, but I think when they changed the voting body and made it like more diverse, there's definitely been a significant change in what gets nominated since they did that. So yeah, I'm good with. But then again, it's also sentimental value has like some English in it. I don't know how much compared like what the ratio is.
It's not much, but it's enough that I would say it's more. I guess what Norwegian is that what the language we're using?
I'm not sure.
I think so. I will say it's very heavy on subtitles, and mainly Skarsgård stuff with Elle Fanning is in English.
So enough that the average person and the average voter would probably consider it an international movie.
I would 1,000,000% consider it an international movie. And I've seen it twice now, so yeah, I would definitely say so.
I am curious what the secret agent's going to actually do, because Wagner Moura, an actor, is actually the only thing I have it for right now, and the only thing I've kind of really considered it for. But
it looks like a 70s cop movie. That's exactly what the trailer looks like.
I remember its reception at a Cannes was really strong. I'm curious where we end up. Of course, last year was interesting because like the main international choice is a movie that fell out of good graces harder than we've seen. Usually, it's after the award season that an award season movie falls that hard. But when I'm Still Here ended up with the international win, I feel like that gave us a vibe of where it finally ended up.
I remember when I talked to you after I watched it, I was like, yeah, Demi Moore's in some trouble. It really was.
like in retrospect, I want to know by how much Zoe Saldana won and how much that almost affected her.
I really wish it would have.
Well, if they had just put her in her right category, it wouldn't have
Yeah.
been a question. But yeah,
Oh, Rolling Stone seems to be stirring stuff up as well.
I
They've
was
put
about to bring that up too. They
they've
got their
put up
top
their
20 right
20
now.
best
Yep.
movies of the year. At number 20, Weapons.
Yes.
At number 19, Frankenstein. At number 18, Caught by the Tides from Jia Jiangji. Number 17, The Phoenician Scheme.
Nice.
Number
okay.
16, On Becoming a Guinea Fowl.
That's for you, Josie.
Number 15, Orwell 2 plus 2 equals 5. Number 14, Best Wishes for All. Number 13, Universal Language. Number 12, Eddington.
Interesting.
Number 11, Peter Huja's Day. And then into the top 10, 10 Sentimental Value. 9, Marty Supreme. 8, Sorry Baby.
Still upset I missed that one.
7, No Other Choice. 6, It Was Just an Accident. 5, Nouvelle Vague. 4, Train Dreams. 3, Black Bag.
Nice.
Oh wow.
2,
Been a minute since
Hamnet.
people saw
And number 1, One Battle After Another. So yeah,
Justice.
no Sinners, no Begonia.
No justice for Bob Trevino, and no justice for The Long Walk or Life of Chuck.
So the moral of the story is everybody was waiting on Marty Supreme.
Yeah.
To end the year.
Absolutely correct. Hey, no Avatar either.
I mean, to be fair, they're seeing
No
it
F1.
tonight.
No F1.
It'll be interesting if it changes. But yeah, Sinners being not in there is a choice. That's all I'll say.
I keep saying this every time, and I'll continue to say this. I make a list. I started in January. I have a list of everything I've seen this year. I have been able to see over 100 movies this year, and that's crazy for me. And they're all theatrical because I don't stream. And Frankenstein was my 100th movie, and out of everything I've seen Sinners twice, and it got better the second time, especially when I knew when the snake was coming. But right now, this year has been so good. I would put so many. I don't have it in my top 10. And there are movies that I have loved this year that most people either forgot about or definitely don't feel that way about. So I may have to do some defending sometime next year.
I'm just
When someone asks me
gonna.
why Sinners is not on this list, and this movie that most people hated is on the list.
This probably isn't much of a conversation starter. It's probably going to be a random opinion I throw out, and then there'll be silence, and then we'll move on. But I'll do it anyway.
Okay.
I. This is a segue from Black Bag.
I like Black Bag a lot. It's been a great year for Soderbergh.
Yeah, I love Black Bag. What's I saw a comment that really threw me off, which was the conversation was like good movies with bad cinematography, and somebody said Soderbergh in general.
Huh?
I love the way Soderbergh's movies are shot.
Presence.
Yeah.
Phenomenal example.
And they said like once he started switching to like the phone, people are like you can see that, and it gives it like an almost too sanitized vibe or something. I don't know, but no, I just want to throw out that I fucking love the way Soderbergh movies are shot, and I love that like this is a weird example when you think about the extent of his filmography and the prestigious things that are on it, but when he didn't direct Magic Mike 2, but he still shot it, you can still tell it's him shooting it.
Yeah.
That's how distinctive it is. You can like smell Florida in that movie by the way he shot it.
Yeah. Very true.
And yeah, that's been kind of sitting with me ever since I read that. It's like, where do you even get that? No, I love the way I love the way Soderbergh does anything. He's like, when you talk about somebody that's just like breaking down, breaking through into new territory as far as filmmaking goes. He's obviously a legend, but I still don't think he gets the credit he deserves for how much ground he's breaking whenever he does anything. So I kind of also feel like what the Safdies are famous for in regards to stunt casting, I feel like is something else that's very like Soderbergh-esque in the way that they do it. Like I feel like there's got to be inspiration there in that sense. But yeah, I just want to throw some Soderbergh love out there. Is basically what I'm saying.
Josie says, I once saw a funny comment pertaining to Barry Keoghan's proposal rejection scene. Someone said, I can't wait to be drinking and laughing about how this didn't win any awards in 2050. AJ, would you like to see William H. Macy nominated for supporting actor for Train Dreams?
I wouldn't be against it because he's in it for like maybe 7 minutes, if that. But I was shocked by how, I guess I shouldn't because it's William H. Macy, but how much of an impact he left. The way he just comes into the story and then he just leaves the story. And I think it helps too that it kind of reminds you how much of an impact he left when he meets that guy later that's asking about him. And it kind of brings him back into the movie without him physically being there, and it really makes you just feel what his presence was when he was there. Is helping a lot. But yeah, I wouldn't object at all. His scenes might actually be some of my favorite scenes in the whole thing. So yeah.
Blue Moon deserves screenplay nomination as well as Ethan Hawke, not to mention casting.
Andrew Scott. Please. He's my spirit animal this season.
I still think we can. I don't want to sound like I'm bashing her or anything, but we can do better than Margaret Qualley.
Hey now.
Weird. I mean, you've seen it. She's in a lot of stuff that I love. She was in my favorite movie of the last decade. But I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like she also gets a lot of parts that I'd like to see other people do that might have more to offer.
I mean, I'm a tad bit biased and have been for a long time, but will continue to be. But her role in Blue Moon it is crucial, but it's not the point. So she can be that in Blue Moon and not really be impactful because she's basically, her character is window dressing.
Yeah, the importance of her character is just how he sees her.
That's Man of
Steel. All she has to really do is exist. Because it's not even a case of she has to live up to his descriptions of her, because even when she's right there in the moment, he's like, well, I guess it's actually, she doesn't have to live up to his descriptions, because it's kind of a, am I being too spoilery with this?
Not really.
Where it's like
you're on the edge, but you're not quite like teetering in like Brian territory right now. But since we know see Blue Moon until after the award season's over.
as often is the case with unrequited love, you see somebody talk about a person and you build up the image in your head, which is the image they have in their head of that person.
Sure.
And then you see the person and it's just a person. So I guess her not really having much life kind of drives the point home more. So
Exactly.
maybe she accidentally was perfect for the part.
That's how I see things.
So, yeah.
What songs would you want to see Bob Ferguson singing karaoke?
Live and Let Die. Bob Ferguson singing Live and Let Die would be, and like, not the Paul McCartney version, but the Guns N' Roses version would be absolutely incredible. Paradise. Him singing Guns N' Roses. There you go. There's the band he was listening to. He was listening to GNR. Bob Ferguson screaming Paradise City with basically Benicio sitting in the front, like coaching him on, literally his sensei. Yes, please. Let me see this now.
Would the Christmas Adventurers Club do golf at the golf club in Caddyshack? I mean, maybe.
All I take away from this is that Josie really loves One Battle After Another. That's my take.
Yes. It is good knowing that this season you are learning young Padawan, so there you go.
I know Thanksgiving was last Thursday, but given the annual dog show on Thanksgiving, if you were to arrange a dog show with cinematic dogs, what dogs would you include and who would you have host the dog show? Hosting, you'd have, Fred Willard.
Thank you.
But in character, like a crossover between the character that he is in bloody Mighty Wind.
I'd say Fred Willard and Jason Bateman from Dodgeball.
The funny thing, though, is watching him do it for real makes me want to see John O'Hurley in a Christopher Guest movie.
Oh my God, yes.
I'm actually shocked that hasn't happened. Assuming it hasn't happened. I don't think he has, right?
Not that I'm aware of.
It feels like a pretty perfect fit.
Just like I was very glad they finally brought JMH into the Spinal Tap sequel.
Yeah.
I was waiting years for that.
Also, your answer of Pepper Books can't be topped. That's like I really want that commentary.
Yeah, he's sniffing the butt again. I think that may cost him some points.
Oh, Josie mentioning I'm imagining Jay and Silent Bob hosting a dog show. And then
I can't
in turn
say
saying I can picture Jason Lee just as himself actually hosting.
Yeah, he would probably need the money right now, sadly.
Ooh. Which 2025 movies would you like to see Mystery Science Theater make fun of, or riff tracks? I'll bound it out to riff tracks because
I want to say it, but I'm too scared to say it out loud.
I've got the whole list here of 2025 movies I saw, so I want to be absolutely sure. There's got to be a good answer for this. Okay, I see one right away. Flight Risk.
Flight Risk was fun. I like Flight Risk a lot. I want to see a movie I hated get ripped to shreds. So we're looking at. Let's find a good one. I'm looking at the list right now. Are you serious? That's not helpful at all. Never mind.
Well, I mean, there's the obvious answer of Snow White, but that's like that's played out at this point.
let's see.
Oh yeah, hurry up tomorrow. That'd be fun. There's a lot to
Yeah,
make fun of there.
my shoulder is killing me.
There's a lot to make fun of in the Alto Nights.
I hate that movie. Absolutely hate that movie so much.
Oh yeah, you're also basically getting my worst of the year list right now, so make
You
of
want
that
to
what
watch
you will.
one there? Alternites was something I watched where I had to keep moving seats, and I was the only one in the theater.
So
I had to lay down in the seats, and I could not sleep.
I think War of the Worlds falls under the same umbrella as Snow White. It's kind of played out at this point, even though it's also the right answer.
I can't find it anywhere. Never mind.
So yeah, but honestly, I think my real answer is probably Flight Risk. That would be
Well,
fun.
if I had my list in front of me right now, I'd be able to tell you, but it's over there, and I don't want to go over there right now.
I'd be intrigued to see what they do with Nosferatu.
The SpongeBob reference with the lights turning on and off would definitely be something that Mike Nelson would go after.
They do the end of the Graveyard Shift episode where they all say Nosferatu in unison like that when we see Orlok for the first time. Which would be kind of hard to do because when we see Orlok for the first time, we're not really seeing him.
No.
He's out of focus for a long time before he finally is revealed.
What did I hate this year?
Now that we're on the topic of Skarsgård, and I don't know what else we had planned to talk about, but should I vent a little bit about Welcome to Derry?
You sure can.
I'm trying to work out what about, considering that I've just seen that whatever the next episode is 105 minutes, and it's like, it's not an episode, so.
Oh, they're doing the Stranger Things runtime for
I
episodes.
think so, clearly.
Well, this should be. Well, I guess I shouldn't spoil that, but book readers should know what the next episode is probably leading to, which is honestly is what I thought would. Well, okay, here's the thing. What I'm not criticizing the show for what I thought it was going to be, but I'm saying that I kind of thought it was going to be a bit of an anthology show at the start because of all the interludes in the book. But of course they're like adding in their own characters and making new arcs and doing that whole thing, doing the military plot and all that, which makes sense because we get the military background on Mike's family. But and by the way, everybody fucking loves this show, so I don't feel like I'd have anything to say if people didn't love it, because it all probably would have been said at this point. But I feel like such a minority. I'm not hearing the criticisms I have anywhere else, so I have to get them out before I explode. Um, Basically, it's a lot of it is the problem I have with most TV shows, which is why I'm a movie person and not a TV person. Which is, I feel like a lot of episodes are characters having long conversations about things that have long since been established. So an event will happen that we see happen, and then we'll have long scenes of characters just talking about that thing we saw, not bringing any new information into it. And it makes everything go in circles every time we get long scenes of dialogue between a couple of characters. So there's that. There's also just I'm not like attached to anybody. I'm not attached to any of these characters. And these new kids are having the same experiences where it is showing up in various different forms. And while, it's cool and creative, the different forms he shows up in, still a lot of it feels like it's set up as this mystery of the kids trying to figure out what it is, like what's happening to them, what's happening in this town. And it's like, well, we already know. We know what it is. We know that if it infects the whole town, It makes everybody insane and murderous and whatever. So there's no mystery to us. We're waiting while they try to figure out what we already know that it is. So it's a lot of that, and the fact that they just gave Pennywise a backstory in last night's episode, um, which they kind of set up in chapter 2, but still giving this story any more backstory that King didn't just feels like watching fan fiction, which I'm really not into. So I've been surprised when I look at the reception of each episode and people are going crazy, saying, "Oh my god, the show's amazing! Oh my god, it's getting better every episode." And I'm not there. As like the rabid King fan that I am, somehow I'm just not there with this, and I really wish that I was. And the fact that the episodes are like long, when so much of it feels like filler, because they're just having the same conversations about what we already know. Everybody's praising the performances of Adepo and Paige, and it's like their scenes are just arguing about, again, the things we already know. So I don't know. I feel like I just have really been struggling with it, and if anybody else is feeling that, let me know I'm not alone, please. So that's also, I hate this complaint because it sounds like such a, you know, I don't know, mainstream complaint. I don't know, but I love a good slow burn as much as anybody.
Mm.
But this thing about we're gonna hold back Pennywise, we're gonna make him like the shark in Jaws. He's gonna be used very sparingly, and you'll never know when he's coming. But when he does come, it's gonna be big. Waiting till the end of episode 5 is not the shark in Jaws. The shark in Jaws would have shown up like 5 or 6 times by that point. But also, and the fact he like, yeah, obviously Skarsgård's gonna crush that role anytime he gets to, but to have him finally pop up after nearly 6 hours of show, just to run away because his kryptonite was perfectly placed there by accident. I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. And we only have 2 episodes left. And what apparently they want to be 2 more seasons. I don't know. Like I was saying, I kind of pictured it as like it was going to be an anthology kind of show where each episode was like a different thing from the book. It eventually gives us the whole history in a sense, but the fact that they're like taking so much of their own path gives me the fan fiction vibe, and I'm not into that. So I don't know. I like the utilization of Halloran and the boxes, but that's it. That's what I got on that. So, like I said, if anybody else is underwhelmed in a similar way, hopefully I'm not too alone in this.
Oh, Josie mentions I've heard some say Electric State would be funny for an MST3K.
Cross my mind. I actually don't mind that movie too much. And I'm actually pretty psyched that it's on the visual effects list because its effects are pretty fucking phenomenal.
And then also, my friend said for a hurry tomorrow, MST3K's joke, save your cash for another day.
That's funny.
I love how humble Jafar Panahi is. Poster for the movie is a first trap alone. And then Triple Marty Supreme. Josie's headed off. And then I think all we have left is Bry's Oscars predictions. I can tell. So if I get the list up. So we're into production design for the 2010s. So, do we stick for 2010 with Alice in Wonderland, or twist to either Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Part 1, Inception, King's Speech, or True Grit?
It's easily down to Inception and True Grit. I'd probably say Inception for this because of the different layers of that feel like different worlds. Different worlds, but also our same world, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like you can kind of feel that.
also the production design of having to, as we eventually got to in Tenet, the sort of the bit where the lift goes like full 360, so they obviously have to have a rotating set to be able to do that as well.
Yeah.
Owen, your decision?
True Grit, but it's
So,
close. Inception.
2011, stick with Hugo, or twist to The Artist, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, Midnight in Paris, and Warhorse.
Midnight in Paris is tempting, but I'll stick with Hugo.
Yeah, the scale of like what that was as being a love letter to cinema is sort of, I'd say that's the obvious one.
I love the movie and it's visually stunning. It's Hugo.
For 2012, Anna Karenina, The Hobbit, Les Mis, Life of Pi, or Lincoln, which obviously Lincoln won that year.
Anna Karenina makes sense because of the gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually kind of an underwhelming lineup because it's ones that are like they're all stellar, but there's not like an inspired choice in there. It's all like, oh yeah, this would be the five.
The problem as well is, certainly with Hobbit and Life of Pi, how much of that was actually just blue screen?
Yeah.
You know, I get there's obviously production design and stuff for some of the stuff that they did sort of shoot for both of them, but given how much of it was sort of CGI'd in on top of it, I don't feel comfortable saying either of them two, so it's probably between Lincoln and Les Mis for me. I'd probably edge it to Les Mis. Owen?
It is. It's difficult because Lincoln is my favorite movie in there, so it's hard not to say it just based on that. But and Les Mis is so sprawling, and it's again, it feels like nothing in there feels like a set, which you would think would be one of its biggest issues. But it feels like a pretty lived-in, vast world. But I don't know. I think the gimmick with Anna Karenina kind of worked on me, even though, funny enough, that's not a movie I particularly like. But for this, I would probably go with it.
Owen?
Never forget how vibrant Life of Pi was when we first watched it. Remember how bright it was.
Yeah.
And I really got like submersed in what was going on. I'm sure that's what Ang Lee wanted, and he succeeded quite well. I'm going with Life of Pi.
This isn't really related to production design necessarily, but one of my favorite movie scenes, maybe of all time, is the whale scene.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Even though it's not a movie I return to really much.
Yes, whale. If you know.
2013, Great Gatsby beat out American Hustle, Gravity, Her, and 12 Years a Slave. Again, I find it weird in terms of gravity. Then again, sort of there, you're sort of going Inception in terms of being able to sort of have a set that acts as if it is a space station. But obviously, with how much of that is CGI and whatever, it's like, is it production design?
I guess I'm going to begrudgingly agree with Gatsby because again, it's one of those ones where it's just like it is a proper winner. You just I love how inspired the nomination for her is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's also another movie I'm not like in love with the way most people are, but that I can appreciate. But yeah, this is one of those categories where like sometimes even though it's not particularly an inspired choice or yeah, Gatsby makes sense. So I'd probably just stick with it.
Yeah, I'd probably stick with Gatsby as well. Owen?
Still a tad bit biased, but yeah, the vibrancy of the Gatsby parties, those ways they were shot, yeah, it's definitely Gatsby.
This might be a short one, but at the same time, I think this is a very good list. 2014 Grand Budapest Hotel beats out Imitation Game, Interstellar, Into the Woods, and Mr. Turner.
That is a good list. And yeah, I'm guessing when you say this might be a short one, it's that Grand Budapest is hard to beat. I'm sure a lot of people would say Interstellar for good reason. But I would easily say Grand Budapest for myself.
Yeah, same here. Owen, I'm guessing the triple.
Dude, it was my favorite movie of the year and got me to laugh at cat misfortune. Yes, I'm gonna go with Grand Budapest.
Something I notice. Same production designer as 12 Years a Slave.
And to slap me further in the face, not that it was just an issue with a cat getting thrown out a window, but it was who did it.
Yeah.
Even bigger slap in the face, given who I am.
But for the dog lovers, it was a nice change of pace because usually Wes Anderson kills the dog.
You
The
are
cat
correct.
was the cat was kind of a mislead.
So,
Added to the list. Continue.
sticking with Adam Stockhausen, he was production designer on Bridge of Spies, which lost alongside The Danish Girl, The Martian, and The Revenant to Mad Max Fury Road in 2015, or the 2015 season, I should say.
I was just about to go all in on The Martian, but it was Fury Road.
Yeah,
I think like the conversation we had about editing, where it's like you can appreciate other movies more as a whole. I think Bridge of even being a Best Picture nominee in an Oscar-winning movie, I still think Bridge of Spies is underrated. Bridge of Spies is so good. But it's one of those things where just objectively, how do you not say Fury Road?
especially considering how much, again, practical stuff was actually done with that.
Yeah.
So you need to work out a bit of a desert that's right enough so you can do all these weird sort of car truck chases. Owen?
Well, you bring up the fact, how can you not say Fury Road? Rather easily. Not even in the conversation
No.
for me. Obviously, I'm not a fan of the movie, and yeah, you can probably take that into consideration, even though I shouldn't. I remember the first time I walked the Revenant, actually, and how grimy and dirty and like how
Mm-hmm.
just looked. And I'm like, yeah, this is phenomenal. I love this. I cannot wait to wrap myself in this story when I get to see this movie. And it did not disappoint one iota.
I remember the conversations we had during that award season, and a lot of it was, what's the production design in The Revenant when it's all outside?
Yeah,
That was a popular question at the time.
very true.
Well, you've got to find the actual place where outside is. That's
Yeah,
production design. Kind of
and
relates.
and there's and a lot more detail on top of that also. But a lot of people were like, "But it's outside."
Kind of relating to
Or
that, considering the number of external shots here.
those Mad Men.
Arrival, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, Hail Caesar and Passengers losing out to La La Land for the 2016 season.
Well,
I feel with the scale of like some of the set pieces, the intro alone, La La Land at least deserves some credit. Um, it's close between that and I'd give the edge to La La Land, but Arrival's a really good choice as well.
Yeah, okay, so it was La La Land, Passengers, Arrival. What were the other two?
Hail Caesar and Fantastic Beasts, Part 1.
I'm gonna be totally honest. I might have to go Fantastic Beasts on this.
I mean, you're saying that, and you haven't seen the Ministry of Magic at Epic Universe, which is themed for the Fantastic Beasts movie series. And you've seen it on the big screen, just like with Hogsmeade and Diagon Alley in Universal and Islands. It's just like it is a perfect recreation of how it looks in Fantastic Beasts. And that movie, it just, like I said, after seeing it in with my own two eyes, like seeing what was intended for it to look like, it's hard to go against it. But it's one of my favorite movies. And I'm not going against La La Land for any reason.
2017, Shape of Water beating out Beauty and the Beast, Blade Runner 2049, Darkest Hour, and Dunkirk.
I'm good. I know the cool kids are supposed to say Blade Runner, but
If you were on the channel for years, you would know that.
I'm gonna say The Shape of Water was a good call. Though shout out to Darkest Hour and Dunkirk also.
I feel the only one that I don't think really has a chance of winning is Beauty and the Beast. But any of the other four I would have been happy to see. But I personally give the edge to Shape of Water.
I mean, I love Shape of Water, and the only movie on that list other than Shape of Water that I even messed with was Beauty and the Beast because I didn't like Darkest Hour. I didn't like Berg. Yeah, it's definitely Shape of Water.
I feel like Beauty and the Beast falls into one of those categories of it looks nice.
Yes,
You just can't. Sometimes you can't tell what's CGI and what isn't.
certainly.
Like it feels very. It looks good, but also feels artificial at the same time.
I get where you're coming from.
For 2018, Black Panther beating out The Favourite, First Man, Mary Poppins Returns, and Roma.
Well, I mean, it's not. It's not even just bias. That that movie looks like I don't even know how to describe it. obviously, for those that don't know what I'd be biased towards, I'm like all in on Mary Poppins with this, like
There's
easily.
there's a wondrous segment on this channel and has been for years called Speaking Bluntly, and it will be returning to the channel soon for the Smashing Machine, if in the near future.
Even before they go into an actual animated world, the whole movie and not CGI. Let me be clear, not CGI. The whole movie feels illustrated in a beautiful way. And there's no way I'd go against it.
Oh, I will stick with Black Panther, but I'm also very fond of Favourite and Roma's settings and how that was all set up.
Mm.
I would have probably said the favorite if Mary Poppins wasn't in this.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that as somebody that adores Black Panther too.
Owen?
The only answer I can give is the favorite.
So it's properly named.
And then, dear Lord, this is a list. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood winning the 2019 season, beating out Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, 1917, and Parasite.
Parasite would have been a great winner too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
However, do I even need to say this? Or does
Nope.
everybody kind of know already?
That watch. Let's
We
take home.
started with Tarantino.
I mean, again, it's like it was like watching American Graffiti for the first time. Where it's like I wasn't alive even close to this era, but I want to be there and I feel like I'm there and I feel like I've been there by watching it in this movie. And the way the Cliff driving around scenes are there basically to just show off. Look how fucking masterful this production is. I mean, when I reread the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood book, which is often sometimes I'll just flip into a random page and just go from there, just to be back in there. It's not just the descriptions in the book. I'm remembering the world as it was in the movie, and I just want to be there. I mean, I don't know how much bigger of a compliment you can give production design than that.
I honestly don't mind all five.
Yeah.
Because Irishman's got some sort of good settings and sets for what it needs to do. Jojo Rabbit, especially with the sort of, I don't want to say the Anne Frank house, but obviously that's sort of a bit that sort of comes into it and sort of how that's sort of designed. 1917, just looking for those sort of right locations to get some of those shots to work in the style of the Roger Deakins tracking shot sort of thing, and getting that to work. I will probably go with Parasite because that was my sort of favorite film of that decade. Probably still is my favorite. Once Upon a Time of Hollywood is certainly up there, so I don't object to it. But certainly, whether Bong found the house and was like, "How can I adapt it?" or whether they, or whether they just got lucky and like, right, let's
It's
make
almost like
this sort of on set.
It's almost like best adapted production design.
Yeah, to some extent. But certainly as well, sort of some of the bits, the stylization of always, framing the shots so the poor and the rich are still sort of divided via invisible lines. That's obviously a production design sort of aspect as well as cinematography. Getting that right sort of getting the right sort of set in order to be able to do that and just have it subliminally be there. But yeah, Irishman was probably
As,
the weakest of the five, but I wouldn't object to any of the five. But yeah, my personal pick would be Parasite.
as somebody that just worships everything about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and how much I would have loved to have just seen it sweep, I do love that we live in a world where Parasite got what it deserved, awards wise.
Mm-hmm. Owen.
It's tough because I mean, obviously, I know where I want to go, and obviously, the only one for me that's not even in contention is 1917. But again, that's more biased than anything else. Um, Jojo Rabbit would be second place for me. But yeah, I mean, it's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I mean, there's not much more that can be said.
I didn't mean, by the way, to use the phrase "got what it deserved" in the same conversation that Joker was brought up in. That was
Oh,
purely accidental.
Right. So next up, AJ, you've got to select as ever. Cinematography we're dipping into. We've already done 60s, 80s, and 90s. So do you want to stick modern? Go further back?
I do want to stay modern.
Mm-hmm.
Let's uh, let's knock out the 2010s again.
Okay, same decade. I think that's the first time we've gone back to back with the same decade, I think. So, and especially, considering some of the stuff I talked about. And it's good that I gushed about Parasite because I forgot it didn't get in cinematography. What the shit? But then looking at the list, also I get why it didn't make it in. So that'll be interesting to discuss when we get round to it. I'm guessing possibly some point in January when we do the sort of general hangout in
it
and
sounds.
around everything that will be bloody happening by then. Dear God. So yeah, in terms of what the schedule is, let me double check to the calendar list that I can get on that website. So yeah, Gotham's are happening now. In the next couple of days, we've got New York Films Critics Circle, which I feel is one of the first big critics bodies that comes in, and then also National Board of Reviews list. Uh, Film Independent Spirit's got their nominations Wednesday. Critics' Choice is Friday, the 5th.
What day is
And,
this?
and then the Globe nominations are next Monday, the 8th. And then not that it sort of pertains to what we cover, really. PGA documentary is the 9th. And then the first of the sort of, I think, the guilds revealing its nominations is Costume Guild, interestingly, on the 12th. But then during that window between the 8th and the 12th, we've got the shortlist voting for the Oscars, which we'll find out on the 16th. So it's kind of beginning to stagger in as the interesting notable stuff, coming weekly.
So I would say, based on that calendar, we should be back here Tuesday night.
Mm-hmm. because then we can do the spirits and the globes. Bit of a mention of obviously Gotham Award.
Sure. We'll have NBR. We'll have New York. We'll have a lot of stuff to discuss next Tuesday night.
Righty ho. So keep an eye on the socials for times, but I'd have thought it'll be probably a 6 Eastern start as it usually is.
Yeah, unless something drastic comes up with scheduling or circumstances beyond any of our control, it'll probably be 6 o'clock moving forward.
No problem. So, thanks to Josie and Brian chat. And those of you that were watching and lurking away that didn't type anything in chat. We appreciate you all. And obviously those of you watching that couldn't watch it live and are watching us on archive, we thank you for dipping in, if you will. For the ramblers, I sort of call it, because we go around a lot of things. Touch on as many different things as we can. All obviously pertaining usually to award season and things around it, so. Yeah, we'll be back next week. Owen, do you want to wrap us up?
Yeah, AJ will be back with more movie reviews. I believe that we got a Wicked double feature coming up in the very near future. There's several movie reviews that are coming, so get ready for that. Ashley's got more content coming your way. I'm going to continue the daily content because I don't know what it does for views, but I'm always giving you more content. So, I got so much in the can right now that I need to put it out there. So you'll get another video tomorrow and the day after and the day after and the day after. And the only time you'll get something that will be from the back catalog is when we're doing it live. So if you want to follow me on X, it's at SirOwenDisney. Follow Ashley on X at @AshIsMyNameUK. And that's going to be our show. Thanks to Brian and Josie for joining us. And again, thank you for tuning in, whether live or in archive. Remember, go watch a movie, enjoy yourself, and maybe find what your best picture is going to be for your personal lineup in 2026. Remember to always stream any minute now, Water Parks, on all your streaming services. Always remember to have the best day ever. 'Tis the season after all. In the meantime, I want to thank you guys and girls out there for watching. And until next time, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.